What's up, guys? Welcome back. So at the time of this recording, it is St. Patrick's Day. So if you celebrate St. Patrick's Day, happy St. Patrick's Day. It's going to be a little late on the upload because I have to edit this video, but nonetheless. But today we are looking at the Obake Skoshi from CRKT. Now this is a little neck knife inside the waistband knife. It comes with this little lanyard on the sheath when you buy it with a little skull bead. If it'll focus. But that's for retention on your belt. So you put your belt through it and you cinch this tight and you tuck this into your waistband, and when you want to deploy it quickly, you just pull on the handle and this will pull on your belt and it will pop the sheath right off. I wear a belt that doesn't have any holes. It's not leather. It's like a stretch belt and it still works fine. It has 4 eyelets and this little groove here. It does come with like a little clip that will retain it to your belt. I don't like the clip as much, but overmolded or thermoform plastic sheath, has a little drainage hole at the bottom. Pretty sufficiently sized drainage hole. Now this isn't a huge knife at all. It's got pretty decent blade thickness for how big it is. Look at the coating. So they put a tine nitride coating on the blade and then they acid etch it, and each of them are completely unique. No two are the same. It's got a nylon wrapped handle that's epoxy impregnated, so it's hard. It's not gonna come off it. Sounds hard when you hit it off a wood table. It's got faux race skin on the inside and both sides. There's no hole in the handle. I mean, I suppose you could try and take the wrap off, but like I said, it's epoxy impregnated, so it's going to be hard. It's incredibly pointy. My cousin unfortunately found that out the hard way. I'll tell you about that in a minute. But this was designed by Lucas Burnley. There is a larger version of this knife. I don't quite remember the name of it off the top of my head, but it's got a longer blade, longer handle. At some point I want to get one of those to see what those are like. But it comes really sharp out of the box. I wouldn't quite say hair shaving sharp, but it's sharp enough to do utility tasks, which is mainly what this one's designed for. The other one could be used for self-defense. I mean, don't get me wrong, this could definitely be used for self-defense. It's very pointy, it's sharp, it's small, so it's easily concealed. You can get the sheath off lightning quick. So I mean, it's got everything that you could use in a self-defense knife. The taper down to the point. Get it to focus. Yeah. Very cool finish. The edge is very nice. The edge is almost perfect in its degrees. Mine's a little off on one side, but that doesn't stop this thing from being pretty sharp. I honestly wouldn't want to get poked with it or cut with it. So when the sheath has fantastic retention. I'm not going to shake it around because my frame is very small, but it's not coming out unless you want it to come out. You have to push on the sheath to get it to come out. And my cousin was looking at this one in particular. I was showing it to him and I handed it to him and he tried taking it out of the sheath and he grabbed the sheath like this and pulled out on the knife. He didn't use his thumb, he just yanked out. And he yanked out too fast and tried putting it back in, but instead stuck the knife like that into the side of his thumb. So it was like, went like that far into his thumb. It was nasty. It was clean, but it was nasty. It definitely hurt. He was not happy. Needless to say, I don't think he likes knives with overmolded plastic sheets anymore. He's never experienced them, but so it will bite you, and it will hurt, and it will definitely work if you want to use it as a self-defense knife. And he didn't put too much into it. He just pulled it out way too fast and tried putting it back in before it came too far out, but it made it over the lip and just sunk right into his thumb. I have cleaned the knife, for those of you that may think, oh, that's nasty. I did clean the knife. His thumb is okay. No serious damage. Some stitches, but nothing too bad. Many people want to see the handle. There's the faux ready skin inside. Handle's really nice. There's no guard stopping you from coming up onto the edge, but in my opinion, you honestly don't need it, because this grip, it acts like really big jimping. The meat of your hand just locks into the handle. It just, when you squeeze this knife, your skin just goes into these holes in between the weaving of the handle, and it just locks your hand in perfectly. So yeah, it's a great carry knife. I've carried it quite a few times. Inside the waistband carry for a knife isn't exactly my favorite. I carried it like appendix area, so my front right side, my waistband, and yeah, I enjoyed it. It was comfortable. Every now and then it would poke me in the side. I'm not gonna lie, that was annoying, but I mean, simple little adjustment. That finishes wicked. I haven't cut anything too aggressive with this. This has only really been paper cuts and my cousin's thumb. I've opened boxes with it. I've cut some cardboard. I did cut some wood with it. The edge is fine. Edge is going to hold up on you. It's not like a paper thin edge. So it seems like the edge is a little wider up at the top than it is down here. That's just because of the way they beveled it. But the tip is nice and strong. It may look extremely thin on camera, but in person, it's a good thickness. Now, to give you perspective of how big this knife is, if you watched my last review, this is my Benchmade Adamas. So, this is considered a massive knife by many people's standards, or a full-size knife to people who understand, there's a scale. Not everything is either puny or massive. It's, there's a scale. This being on the definite low end of the scale, because if you look at, look at that blade thickness, look at this blade thickness. They're pretty similar. This is a fixed blade, and this is a folder, obviously. So, yeah, oops. I definitely recommend it. This is about $30 at my local Dick's Sporting Goods. Oops, sorry for the shaky camera. Hit my tripod. So it's worth it. You can get them for cheaper on Amazon. I got this one as a gift for Christmas. I definitely enjoy it. I carry it every now and then. It's not part of my permanent EDC rotation. That is a very select few things, like my Benchmade and my key bar. I might do a review of my key bar at another later date. And Even my Trade Designs chugger, that doesn't leave. Or my EOS Cases wallet, because that's my wallet. So I'm not getting rid of my wallet, and it's the most comfortable wallet I've owned. So I mean, this gets carried. If I can't carry something big, like if I'm packing really light and I can't carry my Adamas because it's just one of those, I'm going to be going somewhere else, like if I'm going out of state for the day, like the next day, I'm not going to carry my Adamas because it's a big knife, and I don't. Check local knife laws before you buy these things, because if you get caught and for whatever reason they decide to pin you with, your blade's a centimeter longer than it can be for a fixed blade, or you carried it concealed. Here in New Hampshire we don't have knife laws, which is fantastic for everybody who loves knives. I do believe we're the only place in the country that has no knife laws. I do believe Arizona has like the second slackest knife laws in the country. So if you go to live in New Hampshire and you love knives, you are definitely upgrading from your previous laws. You can carry basically anything here. They'll probably question you if you walk down the road with like a foot-long Bowie knife hanging off your hip, but they're not going to do anything to you if you're not bugging anyone. So, take that with a grain of salt. But yeah, so size comparison. For a light EDC, if you want a tiny little fixed blade that's going to do small tasks well, then I definitely recommend this. It'll handle basically anything you want it to, within reason, because, I mean, everything has its limits. Even this tank has its limits. I'm not going to try and cut nails or anything with this. It probably could hold up to it. It probably wouldn't wreck the knife, but I'm not going to, because I have to repair the edge, edge rolling, possible chipping, but, with reason, within reason, it's great. Good quality steel. I do believe that yep, 2365. I do believe that's the steel type. I don't know, but from other reviews that I've watched of this knife, it's gotten great reviews. It's a lot of people's favorite EDC fixed blade because it's so small, it's so versatile, it's so comfy to carry. It doesn't. One of my biggest pet peeves is I like things with pocket clip, like my Adamas, because I like carrying things in my pocket, and if I'm going to carry a fixed blade, I don't necessarily like inside the waistband. If I'm going to carry a small fixed blade like this, like, you can put a pocket clip on here somewhere, because it's a small sheath. Altogether, this whole package is not very long at all. Like, it's a tiny bit longer than my Benchmade, but if you put the clip so the top of the clip was here, so you'd have like a little bit protruding out of your pocket for you to grab on. I mean, I'd be cool with that. CRKT, you should do that. You should release like a new sheath as a replacement sheath that you could buy on your web store or something. Maybe Blade HQ could carry them or something like that. I'd buy one. I'd be much more inclined to carry this way more often if it had a pocket clip, because then I could just do away with this string. Don't get me wrong, the idea behind the string and the function of the string is awesome, and it works flawlessly if you put it on right, but pocket clip, that's like my biggest pet peeve, but that's just me because I like pocket clips. I'm getting a Southern Grind Jackal at some point soon because I want a nice sized EDC fixed blade. I also have a White Bone Custom Knives cleaver in the making. It's going to be the only one of its kind. It's going to be completely unique in comparison to every other one that he's ever made. First one with metal handle scales and all the works. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be like apocalyptic themed, like my Zombie Tools Reaver Cleaver that is right off camera, kind of just looking at me. Well, I'm going to wrap up this review now because it's running a little long. Such a small knife. But yeah, if you want a small little EDC fixed blade, this is it's great. Honestly, it's heck. I know there are people out there who think this is too. Ow, poke myself. I think this is too long. I've seen a lot of guys that think even like smaller knives are too big for EDC tasks. I mean, I'm sorry, I carry this. If you don't like my opinion, then I'm sorry, but man up a little. Maybe carry a big knife. If you've never carried a big knife before, do it. Carry it for a little while, and trust me, there are certain freedoms that come along with having a big knife. I can handle way bigger tasks with this than I can with this. Because this is, like, I have so much more blade, I have so much more edge. But that's my little ramble. And I respect Nut and Fancy with his reviews. I've watched him for a long time with his the knife show, TMP knife show. I respect his reviews and stuff, but his standards on weight, I do believe this would fit into his standards on weight. It's only a few ounces. This thing, he'd look at this and think you're carrying a cinder block in your pocket. And I think it's a little ridiculous. You know, for a guy who carries a fanny pack, he could, you know, probably spare a few things that he carries in his EDC fanny pack to make room for a nice big folder. That's my own opinion. Well, this has been Zombie Reviews and the CRKT Obake Skoshi. And I will be uploading this in a few days, hopefully, once I get the editing done. Oh, have a good one.